Marfoogle News going live in 3. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We have really just insane stories coming out. Of course, there is a major disturbance going on in Chicago with Blackhawks flying overboard, over top of them. You, of course, have Portland has massive unrest. Of course, you know, people are almost used to it by now, but this is even worse than normal. We, of course, have a deal, 48 hours for Hamas to comply exactly with the deal that they have. Otherwise, they are going scorched earth. We have, of course, Europe and Venezuela about to pop off. So we're going to start talking about that right now. The president calls on Israel to stop bombing the Strip. Hamas says willing to free hostages. Now, remember, both parties, which have not worked together, both have to do what they're told in this deal for all of the hostages to be released. It says that the U.S. President Donald Trump demanded Israel stop dropping the bombs on the Strip immediately after Hamas said that Friday night it is willing to release all hostages in an effort to re-enter negotiations with the president's deal to end the Strip conflict in Gaza. The terrorist organization said in a statement it would release all hostages living and perished according to the exchange formula outlined in the president's proposal, provided that field conditions necessary for the exchange are secured. Hamas officials later told international media that it would likely take longer than 72 hours outlined in the U.S. proposal to release them. Now remember, that 72 hours is now about 48 hours. So they have 48 hours again in this proposal that they slapped back at. Again, the president is essentially stating that that they have 48 hours left after this. Now it is already past a day. So that is something that none of us really believe that they're exactly going to come to the table, or, you know, both are going to do exactly what they say. And even if the Hamas says, you know, hey, we're going to do everything exactly how you do it, there could be an event that makes it look like they don't. There could be an event on the other side that makes it look like somebody dropped something after they weren't supposed to. This could go bad in many ways. And I'm not trying to be a glass half empty kind of guy, but honestly, if you've looked at this and you've watched every piece of story that has come out between Israel and Iran and Israel and Hamas, basically, they have never come to the table and agreed on everything ever. And that's exactly what they're asking to do. In this case, they're saying give up everybody in 48 hours from now. And otherwise, it's, you know, very well going to be a scorched earth situation. Now, this is happening at the same time as all sorts of other things. But before we go into that, make sure to go check out EMP Shield. Again, this is a device that can protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, and generators, gas and solar, like the Energy or the Bug Out XP, against an EMP strike. Again, not only does this protect against an EMP strike from adversaries that could knock down our entire grid, this will actually protect you against CMEs or a Carrington level event from the sun. Obviously, if you haven't been following the sun, there's a lot of crazy stories coming out about all of the solar flares that are coming out of it, and that it's waking up, not going back to sleep like predicted. So go over to check it out, marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use that code MARF. It will save you $50 off per device, and that's very handy when you're talking about possibly teaming up with a car version, a home version, a ham radio version, whichever combo you go for, you'll save $50 per device on top of any sale they have. All right, let's go into the next piece. Let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine. Real quick, though, Adam, what do you think will happen if they don't follow through? Do you really think we'll hold up what we've said we will? Or if we don't, how is that going to make our country look?
Well, it will make us look weak. As far as here's the thing, we've talked about this. The whole theme of this week, Dex. What was the whole deal with NATO and the Article 4s? Can you give them an example of that?
Exactly. Like, we kept crying Article 4 over and over again, and we don't do anything about it, or NATO doesn't do anything about it. It makes it look weak, right?
Yeah, Mark Rutt, he came out and he's like, hey, if you guys call an Article 4 every time you see a DJI drone, then it's not going to have the same weight that it has. And with the U.S., in the last 6-7 years, we've seen a lot of times where the U.S. kind of soft-footed in it. I even brought up, Klingons, that a lot of these forces that we're going up against, they really respect like the battle, the warrior. And for example, North Korea, when the president a few years ago said, we're going to go scorched earth, we're going to drop bomb, you won't even exist. Everybody was scared by that, but Kim Jong-un actually respected it back when Kim Jong-un was probably still alive, right? Who knows if he is anymore anyways. But you guys get my point, that they respect, they respect strength. And that is what they're going for right now, peace through strength. So hopefully it works. But let's talk about this Nick Sorter got arrested while basically trying to stick up for the flag and defending himself. That's what it sounds like.
Exactly. And this isn't the first time we've seen in the last week a problem with journalists in Portland. I think it was Katie at Davis Court who was punched in the face by these protesters, who quickly ran to the police, and they did nothing. They would not arrest the person that punched her. So what was happening yesterday with Sorter, I think they were burning a flag, and he was at one point was trying to put that out. And then at another point, I guess he was getting assaulted by the protesters, the whatever you want to call them, Antifa or whatever. And in the process of that, he got thrown to the ground or fell to the ground, got his camera broken. He tried to defend himself. Then he just got up and walked away, went to the police. And this is his account of it, by the way, went to the police, told them what was going on. And instead of them arresting either everybody involved in the fight, they just arrested him and no one else. And that's caused a big problem. That's caused a big problem with the federal government now, who is also looking at this to say is maybe his civil rights been violated. Of course, the DOJ is up in arms, as well as even the president is now threatening, not just over the Sorter issue, but over the continuous battle that's been going on with these protesters for hundreds of days now in Portland, and the lack of police supporting the law and, the peace, as well as the press for that matter. He's threatening to pull their funding.
And when he was arrested, he says, and when they put me into handcuffs, the first thing that went through my mind wasn't, oh, you're being arrested. It was, oh, they're trying to help you, get you out of here and make it look like they're doing something. So that kind of seems like he might have too big of a head, thinking that they actually know who he is and that he's, but maybe again, they did recognize he's press. I didn't see pictures of him with like a press badge on his back, but he should have that. Most of the people that go to these protests do not have press on their back because they don't want to put a literal target on their back. But in this case, did he think that if he just came up, that they would, start silently trying to take him like it was some sort of secret thing. They were trying to get him out. Okay, we're going to release you. Oh, we got you out of that mess. That's what he was thinking was going to happen. He says, they weren't telling me what I was charged with. And that's a problem. If for an hour, did they read him his Miranda rights? Did anybody get this on video, right? Is there any proof that they just arrested him, detained him, put him off to the side without reading the Miranda rights? It took over an hour for me to find out what I was charged with, Sorter continued, and that should actually never be the case, but that it has been the case with many people. I even know people that have had this happen where they won't tell them what they're charged with because they're sitting either in their vehicle trying to figure out what they're charging them for. They're like, oh, I guess, can we break their taillight? That kind of thing. And there are some pretty bad cops out there. Not all of them, but there are some pretty bad ones that will sit there and try to find something to get you with, right? So in this case, it seems like, we don't know what the actual force is like, but what is being implied is that the force is, basically taking up the mantle and has the same political views as the protesters in some cases. So they might be like, hey, this guy's trying to stop what they're doing and then arrest him. But is it exactly what we, think it looks like? The media is going to portray this in a certain way. Right-leaning media is going to portray it one way. Left-leaning media is going to portray it the other. Either way, this could cause it's just one more event that could cause civil conflict in our country. We are at the precipice of our own civil conflict, at the edge of everything else that's going on. So it's not a good thing to see, especially with the timing. And is it on purpose, And then we have Chicago. This is absolutely nuts. So Chicago has freaking Blackhawks flying over it. You're talking about, I'll just play this real quick. This is very, very alarming because of the situation and what is going on. Dex, do you want to talk about what they just did and what they just closed in Chicago?
Yeah, certainly. So they had an unusually long and large flight restriction has been placed on the entire Chicago area for several days. This is coming because they say there's a credible threat of attacks on law enforcement and potential, I guess, drones could be used. So the Federal Aviation Administration confirmed a temporary flight restriction has been put in place at the request of the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah. So again, this is from Branded by Iman. So again, this is a TikTok showing the videos of them flying over all of this. So this is really, really, something we've seen in drills and things. But when you combine this with a closed airspace type of thing, that's really, really freaky. Obviously, people are alarmed by this, especially when they don't know exactly what is, the full story behind this credible threat. So, yeah, what the hell is happening right now? Obviously, we have unrest in multiple states. We have wars that are about to pop off. We have Venezuela and Europe happening right now. We're going to go over that here in just a minute over on our other channel, Marfoogle TV. If you guys have the down low or the scoop on it, please remember you can email us at adam@marfooglenews.com or dex@marfooglenews.com and give us a tip. There's also a tips page on the top of marfooglenews.com. So that is in the description down below, along with the bibliography of every single article, tweet, video, picture, document that we show you here. So that way you can get to the source of it and go support them as well. All right, you guys, again, we'll see you in just a moment over on our other channel, Marfoogle TV. Make sure to stay in the chat if you're there because you'll be ported over automatically. Or if you're watching the replay, click here. We'll see you in just a moment. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.